Hello, welcome. My name is SlugMTG, and today I've got another episode of Hopeful Homebrew. This is a series where I take some of my more experimental brews. Don't have to be budget, but they are experimental, and I just kind of see how they do. I test the decks a little bit, but not too much before playing. So if there are any tips or suggestions, definitely leave them down in the comments below. But today I've got a pretty cool deck, I think at least. I'm calling it Angry Mill because it's a deck that kind of mills, although it just uses the milling as a means to grow our creatures, so we can beat our opponent's faces in with just these absolutely massive creatures. And I wanted to try this out because a couple of the new cards from Zendikar Rising seemed like they would fit into a shell like this. And when I was first playing Pauper online, I ran into a deck like this once or twice. I thought it was a really cool concept, and now that it's gotten a couple new toys, I thought I'd try it out for myself, see how it would do. So this could go really well, this could go really poorly. But anyway, let's hop on to Magic Online and we can go over the deck itself. Alright, so this is the deck, and it's kind of the creatures that the deck is built around. One of them is Jace's Phantasm, which is a 1/1 flyer for a single blue mana, and it gets +4/+4 as long as an opponent has 10 or more cards in their graveyard. So I think the only thing better than a 1-mana Gurmag Angler is a 1-mana flying Gurmag Angler. It's a bit of a stretch if we can get 10 or more cards in our opponent's graveyard. There's a few things that will be standing in our way, but if we can manage to do that, then Jace's Phantasm is a really great creature. And then the other card we will be trying to make absolutely massive is White of Persink 6, which is 1 in a black for a 1/1, and it gets +1/+1 for each creature card in our opponent's graveyards. If we can end up milling quite a bit, or we are blue and black, so we can just end up killing a bunch of creatures, then it's not uncommon for white to be a 7/7 or more, and that will end games pretty quickly. And then of course we are running a couple copies of the non-flying Gurmag Angler just to give us a little bit more of a punch, a couple more threats to put down on the field. But as you can tell, one of the big things that we're going to have to try to do is get cards into our opponent's graveyard, and to help that, we have 4 Thought Scours, which is an instant for a single blue. Target player mills 2 cards, draw a card. So we have the opponent mill 2 cards, we draw a card, replaces itself. It's not the best milling effect, but it helps us get there. And the next card is actually a new card, Zulaport Duelist. It's a 1/1 for a single blue mana, has flash, and then when it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Its controller mills 2 cards. So obviously we're going to want to be using this on our opponent's creatures. It's very useful. The power shift can be the difference between our creature surviving and their creature still dying. And I was unsure about how this card would actually perform, but at least in my first few test matches, it seemed to do really well. The power shift is very meaningful, so I'm excited to play with it some more. It seems like a very cool card. And then the other new card that's going in here, we are running 3 copies of Nimana Skydancer. It is a 2/1 for 2 in a black, has flash and flying, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent mills 2 cards. And I can say for certain that no one is expecting this card to be coming out. And the 2/1 body, it's not the best, but it can still kill Delver of Secrets, it can still kill Mole Drifters, and there are quite a few creatures that just sit at 2 toughness and they'll swing in thinking, oh, nothing's wrong, and then all of a sudden Nimana Skydancer comes out, they mill 2, and their creature is dead as well. So oftentimes this can get 3 cards in our opponent's graveyard, which is exactly what we want. And then as far as answers for what our opponent is doing, we really don't like counter spells or kill spells because we are relying on 1 or 2 of our creatures sticking. So we are running 3 prohibits to help take care of that. That way we can just counter something real quick. We are running 3 cast downs as well to help clear our opponent's board, and if we kill a creature, it goes in the graveyard, hopefully growing White of Persink 6 a little bit more. And then we are running 2 Agony Warps as well, as the shift in power and toughness can be really good and can help buy us an extra turn if we need just 1 extra turn to put down a big threat. Not to mention, it does get rid of that mono white guild pack creature that has protection from monocolored. This can get rid of it, so it's very useful. Then we are running running 4 preordains to help us draw into more cards that we need, scry, and then 3 unearths, as a majority of our creatures are CMC 3 or less, and they can be easily removed. But with unearth, we can just get them right back, and it can be a huge tempo swing if our opponent just spends one of their kill cards to kill, say, our white, and then we just unearth it right back. So very useful, and it cycles if we don't need it. Our mana base is very typical. We are running 4 Ash Barrens to help dig for each one of our colors, 4 Dismal Backwaters. We are running 8 islands and 4 swamps. We're running more islands than swamps because generally we're only going to be playing 1 or 2 black spells per turn, but with Preordain, Thought Scours, Prohibits, we want more blue mana than black mana. And so moving into our sideboard, we are running 2 copies of Dispel to help against those control matchups, 2 copies of Counterspell to, once again, help with those control matchups, helps against burn as well. Running 2 copies of Chainer's Edicts for the likes of Boggles. I'm trying out to feed the swarms. That way we can get rid of things like the Pestilence, or if a deck's removal focuses on Journey to Nowhere, then we can get rid of those as well. 2 Unexpected Fangs, because our creatures grow quite large, and it can be really helpful to have the lifelink really help stabilize against the likes of burn and aggro decks. 1 copy of Reaping the Graves for those control decks. That way, if we just get a bunch of things countered, we can cast Reaping the Graves, get them right back, and it's essentially just drawing a bunch of cards. 2 Suffocating Fumes against fairies and elves and goblins, and yeah. And then 2 copies of Fairy Macabre, because the last thing we really want is our opponent's entire graveyard to be exiled, and Fairy Macabre can help us just snipe off 1 or 2 cards that we really don't want the opponent getting back. It's essentially counterspell for Pulse of Marasa, and plus it's just really funny when the opponent has to use their Nihil Spell Bomb on themselves. So that is the deck overall. It's pretty fun from what I can tell, but let's go ahead and hop into some games, see how we do. All right, so we are in the first game and we won the die roll. We would like to go first. Got a Swamp, Dismal Backwater. We've got White, Frantic. Okay, I think we'll keep this. And our opponent mulls to 6. We'll just go ahead and play the Dismal Backwater, and then we can see what happens. We'll most likely preordain during our turn. Yeah, they just play Terramorphic. So what do we draw? We draw a Skydancer. I think I'll just go ahead and preordain here, see what we draw, see if we can hit another island. Zulaport and Prohibit. Okay, I still don't know what they are though. I do want to hit a blue land, so I'm tempted to bottom both of these. Yeah, I think I'll bottom both of these for now. And then, okay, cool. So we do get an Ash Barrens. We can search for an island at their end step. They crack the Terramorphic, and a Snow-Covered Plains, and a Snow-Covered Swamp. So this might be Pestilence then? Okay, this is definitely Pestilence. Alright, so let's see. They castigate. What do they take? Maybe the Gurmag Angler I could see. Frantic Inventory. They took the Frantic Inventory. Yeah, that's going to be super annoying, because now there's just 1 less copy in my deck, so the next one I draw is going to be super weak. So we'll get an island, and see, we would have... There's another one. It's like the first one, but now we only have 3 copies in the deck, so that really stinks. And I think we'll just go ahead, pass turn for now. We can play the Nimana Skydancer on their end step. That way they just have less time to react to it, and we can have them mill 2 cards. They play a Squadron Hawk. Okay, so when it enters, they're going to search for, I'm assuming, 3 more. Yep, so there's 3 more Squadron Hawks that's now in their hand. And I think I'll just go ahead and play our Skydancer, have the mill 2. We hit a Swamp and a Manamorphose. Okay, that's interesting. This is not a typical... It's not a typical Orzhov list. Might not even be Orzhov. I am tempted to swing in here, but I think I'll just go ahead and pass turn for now. Well, they have... I'll swing in. If they want to trade, then that just puts another creature in the graveyard for a white for Sync 6. Okay, I am fine with that. And we'll go ahead and pass turn. They crack their Terramorphic Expanse. At their end step, I can Frantic. Then they grab red, so some type of Mardu list. I'm not sure what they're doing. Cycle the Ash Barrens to grab another mountain. And Memory Leak. Target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-land. So is this a cycling kind of storm list? Because there's better cards that do this. I can't prohibit this, so I guess I just kind of let it happen. I could cast Frantic Inventory right now, but I'm kind of worried that if I cast Frantic and I draw into a really good card, then they'll just exile that card. They could take another Frantic Inventory, though. Although I kind of doubt it, because now it's so much weaker now that there's only 3 copies. They take the Frantic Inventory, okay. Well, now I don't have that much to do, so it comes back to me. There's a Thought Scour, so let's go ahead, mill them for 2. We get an Echoing Decay and another Memory Leak in their graveyard. They don't seem to be running many creatures, but I think we'll go ahead and pass turn for now. I don't want to play White of Precinct 6 as a 2/2 because it is vulnerable to Echoing Decays that we now know they have. So there's a Squadron Hawk. I don't mind them getting those down. And they just go ahead and pass back. We'll Thought Scour them again. If we can hit 1 creature, I'll play White of Precinct 6. Well, I guess technically it's a creature. I mean, not technically. It definitely is a creature. It's First Sphere Gargantua. However, they can unearth it, so that's going to shrink White of Precinct 6. So we do manage to draw a couple lands, though, so that's always nice. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the Gurmag Angler. Yeah, I'll play the Gurmag Angler with Prohibit backup, and then I'll just pass through the turn. If they want to unearth the first sphere Gargantua, I might cast Down on it, because it doesn't really seem like they're running that many creatures. Okay, more Hand Hate. I'm just gonna, because they're probably gonna take Prohibit, so I'm just gonna counter that. They go ahead and spread away the Gurmag Angler. Attack, pass back to us, draw another land. So what exactly does their deck do? Is it just Hand Hate, Marduk Control with Squadron Hawk and First Sphere Gargantuas as the win condition? Because that's quite interesting. Honestly, I think the only thing I can really do is just play the White of Precinct 6 and pass turn. It is a 3/3. It'll shrink down to a 2/2 once the Gargantua is played. So there's the Terramorphic Expanse. Then grab another Plains. There's the Gargantua. I will probably cast down this, so I really don't want to take 5. However, I think it'll be fine. So they swing in with both. This will be 6 damage. I think I'm okay. I'll go down to 14. I won't block. And okay, so it's their end step. Yeah, I didn't want to waste a cast down on a creature that was going to exile itself anyway. There's a Skydancer, so I can play the Skydancer and block the Squadron Hawk, and this will grow the White of Precinct 6 to a 3/3, possibly more if I hit anything. But we can go ahead and swing in, and they're down to 17. We'll pass turn. So there's Manamorphose. They get 2 black mana from it. So there's a First Sphere Gargantua. Okay. Yeah, so they lose a life, draw a card. They swing in with the Squadron Hawk. I will go ahead and cast the Skydancer. And we hit a cast down and an Ash Barrens. We'll go ahead and block this. And then our white is now a 3/3. And at their end step, okay, they exile our graveyard. That's fine. And then at their end step, I think I will cast down. That way I can swing in. And white is now a 4/4. And we get a Dismal Backwater. Okay, we'll probably hold that in our hand. We swing in for 4, and we'll pass turn. So our opponent is down to 12. We'll go down to Castigate. Joke's on you, it's a land. So they've hit 3 Castigates. And then Skred, there's nothing we can do about that. So they'll most likely unearth their Gargantua here. There it is. We'll go ahead and take 5 damage. It gets exiled back to us. So might as well play this. They know we have it. And then I'll go ahead and Frantic Inventory. Jace's Phantasm is actually really good. And we'll pass turn. Hopefully they don't hit any more Skreds. That's what I'm hoping for. That's wonderful. So Unearth would be really good here. And there is their own Gurmag Angler. I stand corrected, 2 Gurmag Anglers. Yikes. So I did draw Jace's Phantasm. If they have removal here, then I'm just dead. So I'm hoping they don't have removal. I swing in. I have to block. Teamer Battle Rage. Yep, that'll do it. Okay, so we begin sideboarding. This is very interesting deck. I do think I actually want to bring in the Fairy Macabres. That way we can get rid of the Gargantuas and things like that. Unexpected Fangs, I think, does quite a lot here. It buffs the toughness. And our main creature this time around is going to be Jace's Phantasm. Definitely not White of Precinct 6, because they don't seem to be running many creatures. And probably a couple Dispel and Counterspell. So I really do not like white in this matchup, as with the Gurmag Anglers and the Gargantuas, they can exile a bunch of creatures from their yard, and I don't think white will ever be more than just a 2/2 or a 3/3. So we can remove those. Those don't seem very good. I do like the Skydancers. It's just like a nice flying threat. Since we are running less creatures, I think I will cut 1 Unearth. I can cut 1 Prohibit because I'm bringing in 4 counterspells. And then I think I will take out 1 Zulaport Duelist and 1 Preordain. Yeah, that seems fine. I'll run it back like that. We'll see how we do. I would like to play first. And if only we had... If one of these swamps was an island, I would love to keep this, but we cannot. So this is okay. We've got some tap lands, a preordained Thought Scour. I think I'll keep this, and I'll actually put back one Dismal Backwater because we have Thought Scour and preordained to find more lands, which I think I will just preordain right now. I have a Thought Scour and... Oh, I really like both of these. So we'll put that on top, and we'll pass turn. They play a Terramorphic Expanse, and it comes back to us. So let's play the Dismal Backwater, and we'll pass turn. We will Thought Scour on their end step. They cycle a Street Wraith. They cycle another Street Wraith. If I'd known that they had Street Wraiths in the deck, I would have kept in the white of Precinct 6. Either they sideboarded them in, or they just didn't hit a single one during the last game. So that's a little unexpected. They seem to be like pseudo cycling with that other hand hate card that they played. So they Ash Barrens for a swamp, play the swamp, and we'll go ahead and Thought Scour, and we pull a Preordain, and we manage to mill a Castigate and Gurmag Angler. That is exactly what I want to see. And there's even an island. This is great. So I will go ahead, play the island, and I will Preordain. Ooh, Island and Fairy Macabre. I actually really like both of these, so I want the Fairy Macabre now, though, just in case. And then I'll play the Frantic Inventory at their end step. There's a Faithless Looting, and they drop a Faithless Looting and Scred. And there is a Gurmag Angler. All right, well, I guess I know what I'm killing. They cycle another Street Wraith. Yeah, see, they just exiled every single one of their creatures in the yard, so that's why we took the... yeah, we're definitely killing that. But that's why we took the white of Precinct 6 out. But it just doesn't seem all that great. I'll play the island, and honestly, I guess I'll just pass turn. I can play pretty much every card out of my hand this turn if I really wanted to. So they Manamorphose, getting a red and a white. I'm wondering if they have Castigate. Oh, no, there's Squadron Hawk. And how many Squadron Hawks will they search for? If they search for all three, they'll have to discard. And yeah, they only search for two. And looks like they're just passing through at their end step. I will Frantic. And we draw an island, and then I will Thought Scour. Yeah, and then I'll cycle the Ash Barrens. Grab the swamp. We already have an island, and comes back to us. Agony Warp. That's actually really good. So I will play the swamp, and I don't think there's much else I can do, so I will pass turn. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be hitting that many creatures. I mean, we did take 4 out, so yeah, I'll take 1. That's fine. And there is another Gurmag Angler. Okay. And nothing else I really want to do. And there's a Prohibit. So we'll go ahead and play the island. I think what I'll end up trying to do is they'll swing in with the Gurmag. I will flash in the Zulaport Duelist to bring it down to 0. And then I will Agony Warp. Yeah, so -2 the Gurmag, Agony Warp the Gurmag to bring its power down to 0. And then I'll kill the Squadron Hawk with the -3 toughness. And then that way the Gurmag will deal no damage, and I can leave the Zulaport Duelist to block the Gurmag next turn. So with some luck, I can stave off 2 turns of the Gurmag blocking, but there's the Zulaport Duelist, targeting the Gurmag Angler. We get rid of Manamorphose and a cast down, so I really like that. And then I will Agony Warp. Gurmag will get -3, -0. Squadron Hawk, -0, -3. And we still have Prohibit backup. Gurmag deals no damage this turn. No need to block. We play land and flashback Faithless Looting. I'm wondering if I should be getting rid of the Faithless Lootings, but I'm kind of saving it for the... Oh, they just go ahead and discard both the Squadron Hawks, and they play a Relic. Okay, I mean, we'll exile a card. We'll get rid of Agony Warp. We don't have a way to get it back. And that's it. So it comes back to us. We have a Counterspell and Prohibit. I guess we just kind of pass turn. Unfortunately, we've only hit 1 creature, which is definitely not a spot where we want to be. So, exile another card. We'll get rid of the Ash Barrens. Flashback, Faithless Looting. I think that's okay. Apparently, whatever they're looking for, they haven't found it yet. They dump all 4 Squadron Hawks in the graveyard. So, I'm not sure what they're looking for. But Gurmag goes in. We will block, and down goes the Duelist. Comes back to us. Can we please get some card draw or a creature? Perfect. Although, Jace's Phantasm, it's not going to be a 5/5 yet. It's still a 1/1. Needs 2 more cards in their graveyard. So I guess we'll just pass turn for now. And then I do have to remember that Relic of Progenitus is here. So if I do block the Jace's Phantasm, or do block the Gurmag Angler with the Jace's Phantasm, we'll go ahead and prohibit that. And that'll bring their graveyard total count to 10. Jace's Phantasm is now a 5/5. We'll go ahead, counter that. I actually win this race, so I'm not going to block. I'm going to see if they pop their Relic. If they pop their Relic, then I'll just hold back and block with the Jace's Phantasm. If they don't, though... Okay, yeah, there they go. So they exile. So Jace's Phantasm shrinks. Now I can block, or maybe I'll draw a cast down or something. All right, well, there's a Chainer's Edict. Now I won't block. And we get another Jace's Phantasm. So they are 1 mana away from doing the Chainer's Edict. I'll just play the Jace's Phantasm. Pyroblast. Okay. Well, I am tempted to just play the Fairy Macabre, but I think I'll hold off on 1 turn. Yeah, I can't do anything about the Gurmag swinging in. So they did end up bringing in the Pyroblast, and then there's a first Sphere Gargantua. I think this is starting to get away from me. There's Frantic. I'll try drawing. There's an island. That's not what I needed. I think this is just about over, but I'll play the Fairy Macabre and hope that they don't hit a land. Pass the turn. Manamorphose. Digging for a kill spell. Another Manamorphose. Faithless Looting. And there's another Gurmag, so we'll see what we draw, but I don't have very high expectations. Okay, it's a land. Yeah, we'll concede. I mean, the hand hate completely ruined us the first game, just exiling the Frantic Inventories. And then I think the second game, I really needed to counter the Relic of Progenitus. I keep underestimating just how strong Graveyard Hate is against this deck. Not because it's targeting us, but because the opponents target themselves with it. So I keep forgetting how strong it is, and I should have countered it, but... Oh, well, that's probably what led us to lose the second game. Although it's hard with the Gurmag Anglers exiling things out of their graveyard. I'm not sure if that even would have been enough. But on to the next one. All right, so we are in the second game here, and I see 2 Zulaports, a Frantic, 2 lands. Yeah, okay, I'll keep this. I'll keep this. Seems pretty good to me. And we'll see what our opponent is playing. A Forest, and they're passing, so maybe not Stompy? But we'll go ahead, play the island, and pass turn. We draw an Unearth. That's going to be better for later on in the game. We go ahead and cycle an Ash Barrens on my turn. And they get a Swamp, so green-black. They play the Swamp. Fume Spitter. Okay, so this is kind of Aristocrats. And they go ahead and pass. I don't think there's anything I want to do. Honestly, I'm thinking I will just play the Dismal Backwater because I want to... They'll probably swing in with a Fume Spitter, and I can go ahead and Zulaport, make them sack it or kill it, whatever. So I'll pass turn. They play Jungle Hollow, gain a life. Alright, they swing it in. In comes the Zulaport. They will most likely sacrifice this to put a -1/-1 counter on the Zulaport, but we do get to mill them. Yeah, so they do sacrifice. Oh, they missed the Zulaport? I don't think they meant to do that, but at least I guess they don't mill now. There's a Bone Picker, okay. And alright, it comes back to us. We get a Swamp. I am pretty tempted to just cast down the Bone Picker. Let's just go ahead and cast down the Bone Picker, and then we can swing in for 1 with the Zulaport. And pass turn. So they Tragic Slip the Zulaport, sure, that's fine. And they play another Bone Picker. And it comes back to me, we have a Prohibit. So let's play a Swamp. I don't think there's anything that I really can do at the moment. They only have 4 cards in the graveyard. I can flash in a Zulaport Duelist to make it that we only take 1 damage. So yeah, I think that's what I'll end up doing. I swing in. I don't think I will actually, because I want to keep up Prohibit and play Frantic. So we can take 3 damage. We'll go down to 18. Putrid Leech. I will prohibit that because that can be a scary creature. And there's a Frantic. I'm really hoping that we get White of Precinct 6 here soon. It's an island. And an Ash Barrens. Oh, come on. They have 5 cards in their graveyard. I am tempted to play Jace's Phantasm now. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and play it now. I will flash in the Zulaport Duelist during their turn, and I'm kind of hoping that they have a removal spell or they have something that they will use on the Jace's Phantasm, because I can always unearth it back. Yeah, so there's a cast down. That's perfect, because now they have more cards in their graveyard. And I think I'm just going to flash this in to take a little less damage. Make that shrink. Yeah, so we only take 1 damage. And then we'll go ahead, basic land cycle for an island. We get Nimana Skydancer. That is actually perfect. So we swing in with the Duelist. They go down to 19, because now we can trade the Nimana Skydancer for the Bone Picker. And then we can unearth back the Phantasm. I'm hoping they don't have a kill spell. If they do, this would really stink. But they would have to wait for it to enter, and Jace's Phantasm was going to be a 5/5 anyway. We get rid of a Crypt Rats and a Jungle Hollow, and we will block. Okay, and they Village Rights, which means that we get to keep our 2/1 flyer, so that's always good. And it comes back to us. We get an island. Okay, I'm just drawing lands. We'll swing in for 3, and then we'll unearth back the Jace's Phantasm. So target that, pay, and out comes the 5/5 Flying Gurmag Angler. They pay for it. Okay, fine. I mean, that's not completely bad, because they did end up paying 4 life for that. I would have rather they'd taken 5, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So they Pulse of Marasa back the Putrid Leech. That is okay. It means we won't be able to swing in with the Zulaport Duelist anymore, but we will be able to swing in with the Nimana Skydancer, and I believe we win that race. They play the Golgari Rot Farm. Uh-oh, it's still on me. Am I disconnected? Yeah, my timer's ticking. Okay, it finally bounces back over to them. They bounce back a forest, and yeah, that's all I really want to do. So there is another Zulaport Duelist that's actually really good. So I'll swing in for 3. And now, if they play the Putrid Leech, I can just swing in with the Skydancer, and I will use Zulaport Duelist and the Zulaport Duelist to block. Okay, well, there's a Penumbra Spider, so that's actually really annoying. Now I can't swing in. Now I really need a White for Sync 6. That's going to be my best draw, I think. So, come on, let's see it. Okay, Frantic. We can draw into a white. Okay, well, I do actually want to basic land cycle, just to help thin the deck. And I think I do want an island. I will preordain. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. Add black. Play the white. It is now a 5/5, and I will play the island and hold the Zulaport Duelist up at instant speed, and I'm not going to swing in. There is the Putrid Leech. I'm not too concerned about that. There's a second Putrid Leech. Okay. End step. No, I want to keep that up as interaction, and I think I will swing in with the, honestly, maybe just the white. Yeah, maybe just that. And I'll see how they block. They can triple block if they want to, but I still have the Zulaport to lower. Okay, so looks like they are. I will play the Zulaport, and we do have a chance to mill a creature, which will grow white as well as shrink the Putrid Leech. And we hit another Putrid Leech in a swamp. So white is now a 6/6. They're going to have to pay 2 life on both of these if they want to kill the white. So it looks like they are paying for that one. And they are paying for that one as well. Okay, so we're going to be able to kill one of them. And yeah, so we'll kill one. And then we will play our other whites, who will come down as a 7/7. And we will go ahead and pass turn. They got all 4 Putrid Leeches in the top 26 cards. Okay. Yeah, Putrid Leeches are pretty good. And Wake Dancer. That's not going to trigger Morbid, though. Okay, they don't swing in. And come on, card draw, something. Thought Scour's pretty good. I'll go ahead and play the Thought Scour. See what we draw into. On another land. We do manage to mill 2 more creatures, though. So white is now a 9/9. So I think it is worth it to swing in with white. If they want to block with absolutely everyone, then we can kill off the 2 Putrid Leeches. And it looks like they are just jumping. Okay. White now is a 10/10. They cycle the Tranquil Thicket. They sack the Penumbra Spider, so white's now an 11/11. Although they draw 2 cards, they could draw a Cast Down, which I really don't want. Fume Spitter is fine, and a Wake Dancer, so they will get a 2/2 zombie now. And they do swing in. Do I want to block? Because the most damage that this will deal is 8. I will go down to 9. Yeah, I don't think I want to block, and I don't think I can swing in with white unless I have another big creature. Their board is just getting where they can chump me and then just swing in for the final blow. Okay, so they choose not to pump. I go down to 13. Agony Warp is massive, so I'm very happy with that. And I think I'll just go ahead and pass turn. I don't think I can swing in, unfortunately. Honestly, I'm just kind of hoping for either a Prohibit, any card draw, another big creature would be fantastic, and they choose not to swing. Okay. Preordain is pretty good. White and a swamp. So I will put the swamp on the bottom, put the white on top, and I think I will go ahead, swing in. They just jump, and there is another white. So now I have two 11/11s. I mean, that's just fun to say, two 11/11s. When can you say that? There's a Nest Invader. They get the spawn. Choose not to swing in. And we get a Thought Scour. And I will swing in for one of the whites. Just continue to slowly but surely whittle down at their board state. And they just sack with the 0/1. Sack it for colorless. And I'll just go ahead and Thought Scour now in case I hit like a creature I want to play. Cast Down is fantastic. And I'll go ahead and pass the turn. Our whites are now 13/13s. And end step, okay. And I think at this point I will swing in with both the whites because I have Cast Down, I have Agony Warp, and I have Nimana Skydancer. So if they try to swing back, then it's just not going to do anything. They might sacrifice the Fume Spitter to kill one of the Duelists or the Skydancer. Yeah, they kill the Skydancer. That's fine. And so now whites are 15/15s. I still don't think they can swing in. They can't kill me. So they swing in. I think I will just block, or maybe not. I will double block one of them, force them to pay the 2 life. All right, and then I think I will Agony Warp, giving this one -3. So this Putrid Leech will still die. And I keep my Duelists, and they can choose to pay 2 life to deal 1 damage. Pulse Marasa back the Bone Picker, okay. And I will be using Cast Down on the Bone Picker. And it comes back to me. We get Unearth, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'll swing in with both of the whites. They have to double, they have to block here. There's no getting around that. And then I will Unearth the other white, and I don't see how they come back from this. Okay, yeah, there we go. So Golgari mid-range, I definitely want Unexpected Fang seems really good, and then probably just a couple Dispels for their Snuff Outs, their Cast Downs, things like that, because they're probably going to be bringing in a lot of removal. I might even want Reaping the Graves, honestly. This seems like it's okay. So the Penumbra Spiders, they'll probably bring in more of those. Nimana Skydancer just doesn't do much against that. So yeah, we drop one Nimana Skydancer. I mean, white is going to be the all-star of this match because it doesn't die to Snuff Out. I just don't know if there's much I want to take out. We want to match them for creatures. If we're bringing in Reaping the Graves, we can replace one Unearth with it. Zulaport Duelist doesn't seem that great in this matchup, so we'll cut 2 of those, and then I think I'll get rid of 1 Preordain and 1 Thought Scour. And this might... Oh, wait, no, now I'm at 59. I can add something back in. Let's add the Thought Scour back in. Help fuel our graveyard creatures a bit more. I think that's okay. So I don't have any black mana. I do have 2 islands. I don't think I can keep this, because if I don't get hit black mana, then I'm just completely screwed. So I think I have to mull this, and this looks a bit better. I'll keep this, and I'll ship back 1 island. Done. They play a swamp into a Fume Spitter. I can draw Chase's Phantasm. Oh boy. I will go ahead and play the Dismal Backwater, and just go ahead and pass turn. They play a Golgari Rot Farm. They'll bounce the swamp back up, and just get in for 1. So there is a Prohibit, so I do like seeing that. I will pass the turn for now, and then Frantic at their end step, unless they play something. I'm not scared of a Nest Invader. Bone Picker, I cannot prohibit that, so that is 1 creature I don't want to see. I'm hoping I can draw like a Cast Down or something. Yeah, cannot block. So, and then at their end step, I will just Frantic. This might be too slow of a start, and we get a Preordain. So let's go ahead and Preordain here. Zulaport Duelist and another Frantic Inventory, so I do like both of these. I'll put Frantic Inventory on top, followed by Zulaport, as I will cast the Zulaport Duelist this turn, and I will use it to block the Fume Spitter. get a creature card in their graveyard, and then I will cast white as a 2/2. Yep, so in goes the Zooport Duelist. I will -2 the Nest Invader and a Fungal Infection. So they don't even get it. They don't even have to sacrifice. They don't even have to sacrifice the Fume Spitter. Well, at least the mill goes off. I do mill 1 creature though, so that's good. I take 2 less damage. Not much else I can do. And they sacrifice the token for the Village Rites. So there's the other Frantic Inventory. I am tempted to do that right now because I'll probably hit a land. At least I really hope I hit a land. I'm falling pretty far behind. I think I just need to take the risk, so I will do that now. I don't hit it. I am tempted now to unearth the Zulaport Duelist back because I have so many of these big creatures that, yeah, I think that's what I have to do. So let's get back the Zulaport Duelist. Just mill them more. Hopefully I'll hit like a creature or 2 or whatever. I just need a blocker. And, well, there's Village Rites and Swamp, so I guess it's something. And he's swinging with everyone. I think I'll just go ahead and get rid of the Fume Spitter, because that's going to be really annoying to deal with. So that dies. Now they have 2 creature cards in their graveyard. They play a Putrid Leech, and comes back to me. So Unexpected Fangs, that's really good. I don't think I can take another risk of Frantic Inventory just whiffing on lands, so I have to play the White of Persink 6. It is a 3/3, and they cast down. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that, so we might lose this game. We just got our hand was way too slow. I'm really hoping I draw a land. Actually, our best draw, I don't know what our best draw is. Probably a Swamp. That way I can play White of Persink 6 and then instant speed Unexpected Fangs. If they had 2 more cards in their graveyard, I would be able to Jace's Phantasm with Unexpected Fangs, and I might be able to live through that. But unfortunately, I just got stuck on lands, and I was not able to draw anything out. So way too slow, stuck on lands, nothing I could do. And I think I just go ahead and run it back like the way it was. What? Oh, well, that's sad. But yeah, no, darn, that's sad. I wanted to play the 3rd game. All right, so we are in the 3rd game, and we won the die roll. So I would love to go first. And this looks to be a little slow, but we do have Preordain, 2 flashers, some good lands. So I think I'll keep this. As long as they aren't a super aggro deck, we should be fine. And just play the Dismal Backwater and pass turn from there. So it looks like they are Affinity. And I will go ahead and basic land cycle for an island and play the Preordain. An island and a Dismal Backwater. So I think I will actually put the Dismal Backwater on the bottom, but island on top. And I will pass turn from there. We draw another island. Please tell me I'm not going to just completely mana screw myself. They don't have any creatures out right now, so I think I'm just going to basic land cycle for a Swamp. And then I'm going to go ahead and Thought Scour them on my end step. Or Prohibit if they play anything dangerous. Chromatic Star is fine. Looks like they are just completely stuck on 1 land. And we mill a Great Furnace and a Thraben Inspector. So we actually mill away one of their lands, which is great. A Gurmag Angler. Ooh, I think that is definitely one I want to play. So we get rid of all this, and out comes a Gurmag Angler. We'll see if they can deal with that. So they Thought Cast. They hit another land. And they go ahead and pass back. So we draw a Thought Scour. I will go ahead and hold up Prohibits, Skydancers, everything. Swing in with the Gurmag, hit him down to 18, and pass turn. Okay, looks like they get a Seeker of the Way. I don't like that. I don't want to deal with that. So we'll go ahead and prohibit that. And end step, I will Thought Scour them. They're probably really confused as to why we're Thought Scouring them, but we do manage to put away an ATOG, which is fantastic. They only have 3 cards they only have 6 cards in their graveyard, so I will hold off on the Jace's Phantasm for now. But I will play the Nimana Skydancer. At least one. I could play both of them if they don't really play anything that's worth prohibiting. Chromatic Star is fine. Mirror Enforcer, I cannot do anything about that. Looks like they just go ahead and pass. So I will play both of the Skydancers. There's 1 and 2. They go down to 10 cards, go up to 10 cards in their graveyard. exactly where we want them. We draw another Prohibits, that's good. I think I'll just go ahead, swing in with everyone. They choose not to block, they go down to 4, and I will play the Jace's Phantasm and pass turn. And they go ahead, scoop it up. Going into sideboard against Affinity. I think I do want the Unexpected Fangs, that way I can keep my life total nice and high. And then maybe just a couple hard counterspells for either the Flings, or do I want Dispel? I think I will bring in the Dispel just in case they land an ATOG. That way I can dispel the Team Your Battle Rage, the Fling, or whatever they have. So I think I do want this. I'll go down 1 Skydancer, 1 Zulaport, 1 Thought Scour, and 1 Preordain. And that seems okay. We'll just cut the consistency by just a little bit. We have a no land hand, so there is no way we can keep that. And this is probably too many lands, but we do have a Thought Scour. We have a white, so I'll try to make this work. And I will put 1 Swamp on the bottom. Against Affinity, you really just don't want to be... I'll play the Dismal Backwater, but especially against Affinity, you really just don't want to be going down on all that many cards, because they can just explode out of the gate so quickly. There's another Dismal Backwater. I think I will play that, and I'll Thought Scour at their end step and see if I hit any creatures. So I got the red, white, and blue, Jeskai Affinity. There is a Mirror Enforcer. Let's go ahead and Thought Scour them. See what I hit. A Pyroblast and Ancient Den, so I'm happy to get rid of the Pyroblast. There's a Jace's Phantasm. So unfortunately, yeah, I think I'm just going to play the Plains, and then I will Frantic Inventory, and, I will Ash Barrens, and then Frantic Inventory at their end step. They can go ahead and hit me for 4, that's not that big of a deal. I just don't want to see an ATOG. Well, I guess I just had to open my mouth, didn't I? But yeah, there's the ATOG, and I will go ahead, basic land cycle the Ash Barrens. I will grab another island, and then I will Frantic Inventory. Drawing Agony Warp, that is actually great. There's a Preordain, although I don't think I can play it, so I have to play the white here. And I'm thinking of Agony Warping during my turn. That way, if they want to save it, they have to sacrifice artifacts during my turn. And, you know, they won't be able to buff. So I'll just give the Mirror Enforcer -3, -0, and then I'll try to kill the ATOG. Probably should have done this before I played the White of Precinct 6. But if they want to save the ATOG, they have to sacrifice artifacts now. Okay, looks like they are going to be sacrificing a land to save it. And just go ahead and pass turn. Let's see. Do I actually block the ATOG right now? So I'll be taking 5. I'll go down to 13. And the ATOG can add 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And this will be... So, yeah, I'll go down to 3. That's not really where I want to be. So I do, unfortunately, have to block here. And down goes white. And end step, nothing I can do. There's a Skydancer that could do something about the ATOG. I think I do want to Preordain, though, just to see what I get. An island, I think I'll put that on the bottom, and then white, put that on top. I'll play the island, and then during their turn, I will go ahead and play the Skydancer. Surprise them, play the ATOG. Hopefully I will kill... they'll probably sacrifice something. But hopefully I'll mill a couple creatures, because my goal right now is to either get them to 10 or get enough creatures in their graveyard that White of Precinct 6 can kill the Mirror Enforcer. So let's play the Skydancer, have the mill 2, we hit an ATOG and an of 1 Mind. Those are some pretty good targets, although I'm really hoping they don't have a G-Blast. So block, we have to block the ATOG. So they G-Blast my face, which makes me think that they have Fling. So if they have Fling, then we are just dead here. They do not, it comes back to us. So they have 8 cards. I think I have to unearth the Skydancer. It'll bring them to 10 cards in their graveyard. And then I can play the White of Precinct 6 and Jace's Phantasm. So yeah, let's unearth the Skydancer, have the mill 2, and... Alright, so I get rid of a G-Blast and a Mirror Enforcer. I can go ahead... play the white here, and the Jace's Phantasm. So I have a 3/3 and a 5/5 now, and I just really hope they don't have Fling, and that I can draw an Unexpected Fangs here soon. There is a Thraben Inspector. They draw from the Clue. They swing with the ATOG. I will block with the Skydancer. They sacrifice one of their lands, and that's it. So, good news for us. We get a Dismal Backwater. That's not quite what I was hoping for, so I will go ahead... draw a couple cards off of Frantic. Get a Preordain and an Ash Barrens. I think I'll just go ahead and Preordain now. I don't think I really have the mana to spare to Ash Barrens before. An Unearth is pretty good, I think. So let's put the Swamp on the bottom, Unearth on top. I can play the Dismal Backwater to gain 1 life, and then I think I have to Unearth back the Skydancer. Mill them for a couple more. We hit a land and of 1 mine, so unfortunately white does not grow, but we can go ahead, pass turn, pretend like we're holding up Dispel or something, and still have the Skydancer to block the Atog. So you swing with the Atog. Something I could do is just block with everything. It would kill the Atog, but I just don't really want to keep losing everything, so I'll use the Skydancer for now. They sacrifice a land to keep Atog around. Unless I don't want to block everything, and then they sack a few things, kill off, say, my Jace's Phantasm and white, and then they just play another Atog, and I'm in just a really... See, they did have another one. So end step, I will basic land cycle this Ash Barrens, grab a land out, and just hope that we do not grab a land. Some card draw would be great. I'll grab a Swamp this time. A Skydancer. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I do have to pass turn, though. Alright, so I just pass turn and keep hoping that they never draw Fling. There's a Seeker of the Way. There's nothing I can do about that. I normally don't see Seeker of the Way in Affinity lists, so this is kind of weird. I will play the Skydancer. I hope I can at least mill a creature or two. Do they have Fling right now? They must have Fling right now. Yep, they've got the Fling, so nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I never drew my Unexpected Fangs or anything like that, just off to kind of a slow start. Oh, darn, we did have a couple good draws there. Didn't draw any Dispel, no Unexpected Fangs, nothing like that, unfortunately. No cast downs. So we got kind of unlucky, but it happens. I don't think that really changes anything that we want to bring in, so honestly, we just run it back. We are on the play, so that will be good things. I would like to play first, and we have Frantic, Gurmag, Skydancer, enough lands. We have a Dispel, and our opponent mulls to 5, so it stinks for them, but that's what that's what I want to see with Affinity. I think we did mull last game quite a bit too, so that's another reason. Yeah, just kind of got unlucky. I will basic land cycle though, this time for a Swamp. There's a Prohibit, so that is perfect. And I'll go ahead and pass turn for now. I can Ash Barrens, or Prohibit, or Frantic Inventory. Prophetic, that is fine. I just don't want to see an Atog this early. I'll take one from Thraben, and I think I will go ahead and basic land cycle for an island. And I draw an island, okay. I think I'll just go ahead and pass turn for now. I'm just wondering if I should Nimana Skydancer away the Thraben Inspector. There's just so many other things to do. However, it'll get the milling started. It'll get rid of this creature. So I think I'll go ahead and do it. It's not the best target. Ooh, we do get rid of a G-Blast and the Sun Chaser though. So that I really do like. So I might as well block. If we get a white, it'll bump up the power for that. And they go ahead and Thoughtcast. And they pass it back. Oh, perfect. Speaking of whites, there is that. I think I will go ahead, Frantic Inventory though, see what I draw. And I draw another Skydancer. So let's bring in the white and pass turn. If they kill this, I can Gurmag Angler and just keep making sure that I put out threats. So there is an Atog. And they go ahead, Galvanic Blast the white. I'm not too worried about that. They have 5 cards in their graveyard. I am tempted to Nimana Skydancer, although I think I just go ahead and have to Gurmag. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I think I will just go ahead and tap out for the Gurmag, keep the Frantic and the white in the graveyard in case I draw an Unearth or more Frantics. And yeah, that's all I can do. I'll just go ahead and pass and hope that Gurmag is a big enough body to deter any shenanigans going on this turn. They cast Of One Mind. There's a Mirror Enforcer. They swing in with the Atog. Let's see. They will have to sacrifice 2 artifacts. I mean, if they have Fling, they can kill me, so I have to block here. But they do have to sacrifice 2 artifacts. I have a Skydancer, and a Jace's Phantasm, so I will have a 7/7, or not a, I will have a 5/5, not a 7/7. A 7/7 would be pretty nice though. Yeah, they have to sacrifice 2 things. Passes back, so there is an island, and yeah, I will Jace's Phantasm. I have a Pyroblast. I will dispel that. Do they have another one? I think I have to let that through because otherwise I won't have the mana to play the Skydancer, and I have to block Atog. So yeah, I mean, they use 2 of their Pyroblast. They're down to 1 card in hand. Sure. There's a Seeker of the Way. In comes both of those. I will play the Skydancer, and I have to block the Atog. Can't Pyroblast that. And we managed to get rid of an Ancient Den and a Relic of Progenitus. So I am very happy about that, although I do have to block the Atog. They float a white mana and a red mana, crack the clue, and yeah, so there's a Thought Scour. I have to just go ahead and play it. Hopefully I draw something good. Okay, a Preordain, a Cast Down, and an Ash Barrens. I mean, I do really like the Cast Down. Yeah, put the Ash Barrens on the bottom. I'll just draw the Cast Down. I want to cast it now while they are out of mana. That way they can't do anything. And I just pass the turn. Don't have enough mana to prohibit. We get another Seeker of the Way. So I'll take 6 here, and I just have to hope to draw something good. Does this kill me? Okay, look at all these triggers. I will go down to 11. This does not kill me. I will go down to 4, though. There is an Unearth. I don't think that's enough, though. Yeah, because no matter what I do, because if I Unearth the white, how large is the white? Or the Jace's Phantasm? Because they have 1, 2, 3. So the white will be a 4/4. Jace's will be a 5/5. I pay that, and it doesn't matter because they have enough to kill me anyway. So that's it. Unfortunate, but they did manage to get us this time. So kind of some unfortunate games, honestly. That first match, I think in the second game might have been winnable if I actually countered the Relic of Progenitus. So that was my fault. That was my misplay that cost the second game. I underestimated just how good it was going to be against us. And then the second match, I think that was very winnable. I think I think it was a higher chance that we win that than lose, but unfortunately they just left during the second sideboarding before the third game, so we never really got to find out. And then against Affinity, I mean, Affinity is just really tough to go up against, but I think we did learn a lot about this deck and why, even though we had some unfortunate games, I don't think the deck is really strong enough to be tiered. I think it's sitting at like a tier 3 or tier 2.5, but let's talk about why. The main reason why, I think, is what this deck actually wants to go up against. And the deck that we want to go up against is a typical creature mid-range, like that Golgari mid-range deck that we went up against. So mid-range decks aren't really that strong in the meta right now, which is generally what we want to go up against, because mid-range decks have that slower game plan. They're decently creature dense, which means that when we start milling them, we can hit creatures for the White of Precinct 6 to grow larger, but there's just not that many in the meta right now. So our best matchup is practically non-existent, and our worst matchup, Hard Control or just Blue-Black Control, is one of the most popular decks right now. So it's just the metagame isn't right for this deck, and honestly, I'm not very happy with my current sideboard, although honestly the sideboard is what has changed the most. When I first started thinking about the deck and first tried it out, I have gone through a few iterations of the sideboard, and I'm starting to think that it's not that the sideboard is just completely awful. I'm starting to think that it's just the deck has so many weaknesses right now that the sideboard is not going to cover them all, and the sideboard is just spread way too thin to really do anything for the deck. And then another thing you'll notice is that we want to mill the opponent to turn on our Jace's Phantasm, our Whites of Precinct 6. However, we aren't running any hard mill spells. And the reason for that is that the mill spells they literally do nothing unless we have a Jace's Phantasm or a White of Precinct 6 out. If we don't have them out, then the mill cards are just completely dead weight. And so each one of our mill spells with the new cards like Zulaport Duelist and Nimana Skydancer and the Thought Scours, they do something else for us, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's quite enough. I mean, Thought Scour cantrips, that's good, but Nimana Skydancer is just a 2/1 flyer for 3 mana that Sure, it has flash, we can surprise our opponent, but it just doesn't really do anything other than that, and mill 2 cards. And then Zulaport Duelist, the -2/-0 is pretty nice at times, but it just doesn't really trade up with anything. I think I would have really liked it if it was -1/-1 or -0/-1. That way we can at least trade up with creatures with toughness 2 or less, or just flat out kill a 1/1. So unfortunately, I don't think Zulaport Duelist is quite strong enough, or maybe if it milled 3 cards, same with Nimana Skydancer, then the deck would work a lot better. But as it can be right now, it just takes too long to set up our game plan, and the deck that would allow us to set up our game plan, these mid-range creature-based decks, just don't exist in the meta because they just aren't good, which means that our best matchup is gone, and our worst matchups are what's popular in the meta right now. So I think the deck idea is really cool. It could be something that works in the future, as long as blue-black creatureless control never steps foot anywhere near the meta, but it just doesn't quite have the tools right now to really push its way and to be a formidable deck. It is pretty fun to play. I do enjoy putting out 13/13 White of Persink 6, but unfortunately it's just the gas is not there to get this deck into the meta, and it's just going to remain one of those fringe decks, at least for the time being. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. But now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to go take candy from a baby and punch it in the face. Bye!